Sweet.
All right, there it is. So,
Awesome.
so you're from Orlando, right?
Yes. Yeah, I've been living in Orlando since 2005. But
Okay.
I was born in Florida, South Florida, and pretty much lived in Florida my whole life.
Yeah. Have you?
Florida born and raised.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of music scene was going on over there when you were a kid?
So when I was younger in South Florida, there's not really much of a scene at all. It's Port St. Lucie is where I grew up. So yeah, aside from going to music class in school and stuff like that, there wasn't really a scene until I got to Orlando when I went to high school. So I started
I'm
going to high school.
Yeah, that's the greatest exposure to music is for sure. A music class for
Yeah,
school.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. So like from a young age, I didn't take like formal lessons like outside of school, but I was always in the school music program. From elementary school up until middle school and high school, I did marching band.
What were
So I
you?
guess
Yeah,
you
what
could
was
call
your,
that the scene. You know what I
definitely?
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Prior to writing music and meeting other musicians in high school and college. Yeah,
You were on the
that's
pulse
kind
of
of
it for sure. Yeah.
the.
What were you playing in elementary school leading
uh,
up to marching band?
So yeah, so I remember it's like a vivid. It was vivid, like the school music teacher. He went down the line and asked everybody like what they wanted to play. It's between saxophone and percussion. I picked saxophone. I always kind of laugh because I wish I wished I picked percussion. I enjoy saxophone, but I never really excelled at playing saxophone. Like even for all those years from elementary school to high school, kind of just very mediocre at playing saxophone.
And then what'd you move into for marching band? What were you taking
Yeah,
over?
saxophone as well. Yeah, pretty much played
Oh,
the same thing the whole time. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know how much you know about marching band, but saxophones aren't really that important. Woodwinds aren't very important in marching band. It's mostly about the percussion and the brass.
yeah. I thought that you were gonna say that you would have moved to percussion at that
Yeah,
point. But you're like,
no, no.
no, no,
Well,
no, no, no.
by then I had been playing saxophone for so many years. It's like to even consider transitioning would be like outrageous. You know, it's like
Like, no, man, I'm sax. I'm not. No, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, no, what everybody in the marching band wishes they were playing on the drum line.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a classic thing.
So what do you feel your introduction into music was? Was it would you say that it was the elementary school saxophone?
You know, it's interesting. Like I always had like a different relationship with music at home on my own. Yeah, compared to like what was going on in school. It's interesting. In terms of like the stuff that helped me do what I do now, write music and record music, that all kind of started at home when I first got my first computer, um, like when I was like 7 or something like that. So just learning, eventually figuring out you can, use programs on the computer to arrange music, arrange beats and stuff like that.
Yeah. What kind of stuff were you delving into musically on your own? What was your
Uh,
first kind of out
oh
stepping out
yeah,
of yeah.
yes, yes. So yeah, definitely like a lot of electronic music, a lot of like techno, trance, like 2000s. I don't know if you can imagine what electronic music sounded like back in the 2000s, but it was pretty, four on the floor, trancey techno, like kind of cheesy compared to now. Electronic music's come a long way,
Yeah.
but that's definitely my background is into me is discovering electronic music, just music that you can make on a computer, like one or two people making on a computer,
Yeah.
digital music.
Now what were your parents playing music wise if they were listening to music?
So I remember listening to the radio station a lot in my mom's car. She bought me like a Backstreet Boys cassette like back in the day. The radio station was called Sunny FM, and they just played like all the mainstream like pop music of
Delightful.
the 90s. So that I am a pop connoisseur, I would say. I don't yeah, I might not necessarily pay a lot of attention now to pop music, but if it's catchy, I like it.
It's in there. It's somewhere
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, for sure. So it's like, yeah, all types of just pop music, like
Mhm.
stuff that you probably, that all of us grew up listening to.
Oh yeah.
Nothing. It's not going to be very niche. Like, some people are like, yeah, I grew up listening to jazz, like really like specific stuff like that. But yeah, mainstream music mostly.
Yeah.
No classical, no jazz.
Did you ever lead into that kind of phase of jazz and classical later on in life?
um, I enjoy listening to jazz now. I have a lot of respect for jazz musicians, jazz music, but not a lot. Actually, when I listen to jazz, just you kind of get tripped up about your own musicianship. Because you're just like, wow, these guys are on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like, then then you're like, why am I even comparing? It's a whole different thing. But yeah, jazz music it's like the rocket science of music.
That's definitely true. Yeah, it's a good analogy. What was your first job?
First job was working at Sonic Drive-In. Got the job in high school actually, and I only had that job for like a couple months. They're essentially using me to like do like some of the deep cleaning that hasn't been done for like years. It's like, hey, clean out the machine, clean all the floors, clean the freezer. It's like, how often does this happen? Because it's like, I just got this job, and it seems like there's no way you guys do these tasks like on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and it's got to be hard on those roller skates, man. You got to
Yeah,
keep
no,
it.
yeah, actually, yeah, dude. The roller skates. Forgot about that. They don't even do that anymore.
No, I haven't seen that in quite a bit.
Yeah. So that was my first job. Shout out to Sonic.
Yeah, it's a sponsor of this podcast. So good. I had to work it in somehow. So I'm glad that it came
That's
up.
funny, right?
Yeah. So I mean, so you started playing music relatively young. When did you start kind of making your own music with a laptop? At what age was that?
Computer. Yeah, like 10. Like it's as soon as I discovered you could like download software, pirate software on the internet. Man, there's a ton of I remember pirating like Fruity Loops. Before it was called FL Studio. So man, it's been a while. It's crazy to think it's been like I could say like 20 years. It's okay.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was like a huge nerd on like just on AOL on the internet, just looking for things to download. Like my really slow internet. So yeah, it started pretty quick. As soon as I discovered you could do stuff like that, it's hard to remember the exact age, but I was definitely like 10, 11. When I
Yeah,
started
young.
arranging like techno and like trance music and stuff like that.
Man, yeah, that's real young.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff were you getting into as a kid when you were younger? Were you generally a good kid or kind of getting into some mischief?
I didn't get in a lot of trouble, but it's hard to say. I would say I was a pretty good kid. Yeah, didn't get in a lot of trouble, but it seems like when I did get in trouble, it was like a big deal. Like it's like all the whole time I'm like doing great, not getting in trouble, but then you mess up like one time, it's like a big deal.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail. It's nothing crazy, but it's just
Oh,
funny.
it's crazy as shit, huh?
No, it's good examples. Like when you're in class, like everybody's talking, right? And then you're like, well, everybody's talking. Then you start talking, and you're the one that gets in trouble talking.
Yeah.
The teacher hears you talking. Like I was that guy.
That's some wild shit, dude.
I don't know. I guess it's because my voice carries or something. But yeah, it seems like I would always get picked, get in trouble for doing the thing that everybody else was doing.
Yeah. It's always the way it is, man. Yeah.
So yeah, that's but not a lot of trouble. Just maybe got into a little scuff with the kid.
Oh, you're a fighter.
No, not really. No, like I'm saying, I wasn't a fighter, but the one time that I got into it wasn't even a fight. Like, this was in middle school. This kid just kind of like got in my way, and it wasn't like out of malice or anything, but I kind of like needed him out of my way. So like he kind of like fell over. Next thing you know, I'm like getting in trouble for like battery. The dean of the school like is like suggesting the parents they should press charges against me. Like I had no record of doing anything wrong. That's the American school system for you.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
the administration will suggest to the parents, hey, yeah, press charges on this kid that wasn't even known to be a troublemaker. But,
And you say, come on, man, I just got to get to band practice. Do they need that saxophone?
It's
dude?
funny. It all comes back to the band practice. This actually did happen in band practice. Actually, we were in the room where all the instruments were. I was trying to get my saxophone. I think he played like a smaller instrument, like clarinet or something. So he had more time. But yeah, he got in my way. It turned into this whole thing. So not a troublemaker, but when I get caught doing something, it seems to be like a big deal.
When your back's against the wall, dude. Yeah.
Exactly. So I try not to get caught, doing things these days. Try to stay ahead of the law.
On the straight and narrow, yeah.
Yeah.
When did you and Lauren meet? When was that initial meeting?
In high school, actually, Winter Springs High School, with the class of 2008. So I met her like I think my junior year, which would have been like 2007, something like that. Man, it's hazy. It's funny. She might hear this and be like, that's completely wrong. But yeah, like junior year, senior year of high school, I didn't really get to know her until senior year of high school when when things were kind of more chill and we had seen each other more often. We met in Latin class. You might have heard this. This has been mentioned before in places, but yeah, we met in Latin class. We were kind of every school has their kind of like zones, where the different students congregate.
Yeah.
So like, I was a band student, so I usually ate lunch near the band room, and yeah, she kind of like basically we were the kids that didn't have like a zone in the cafeteria. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can imagine this kind of dynamic.
No, I understand. Yeah, I went to public high school as well. I get it.
Yeah. So like that's kind of how I met. Like basically I met her through a mutual friend that were essentially the kids that we didn't really have like a group. We didn't play sports. I wasn't really like in the cliques with the band kids. Like they had their own separate cliques. Everybody had their cliques and stuff. So yeah,
and they knew you were a fighter. They're like, we're not gonna.
Fuck
us up.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, by then, no, nobody knew anything. So yeah, basically that's how we met. Just a group of kids that just kind of weren't a part of a clique that just obviously needed a group that to hang out with.
Yeah, a man with no country kind of deal.
So yeah, shout out to Alex Petticone is the very gracious leader of the high school outcasts.
Shout out to Alex, man. Right? Good guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually she's a woman actually. But, yeah.
Good woman.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Good person in general.
Yeah. Haven't talked to her in a long time. Actually, wonder what happened.
We'll send it over to her. She'll love to hear this.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I met Lauren. High school. Yeah, pretty wholesome story. It's not like we met in music school or like had any. It was just like some kids in high school that just wanted to hang out.
Very organic.
Yeah. And then naturally she started coming over to my place, and I showed her the stuff I was working on, which was a lot of like electronic music at the time, and just different types of arrangements. And I'd be like, hey, you want to try singing on this or like playing something on this?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it happened.
And you guys were making music for a couple years before you guys started sales, correct?
Yeah, for sure. There was a bunch of like, because after high school, she went to college. I went to college. There was a lot of back and forth. We kept in touch, just hanging out every now and then, and we're jamming, working on music
What
for
was your
fun, for fun.
yeah, what was your major?
Yeah, so I went to college. I went to UCF for pre-med, but it's funny because I had like no intention of ever becoming a doctor. Basically, in high school, you had the admissions people come in, and they're like, they put a lot of pressure on you. Well, no, I put a lot of pressure on myself because I was like, if I'm going to go to college, I'm going to go for a reason. I need to get a degree that I want to have a degree that I need. Otherwise, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm not a great student. But all the kids that want to be doctors and stuff, they decide that very early. It's not something you can kind of just casually decide to do by the time you're a senior in high school. So yeah, I went into UCF as pre-med, got completely wrecked by all the general ed, like, so yeah, pretty much only lasted for like 2 semesters. So basically by then I was just kind of like in that drift, kind of figuring things out stage of, not working, not going back to school. So in that time I would go visit Lauren at her school, FSU, Tallahassee, Florida.
FSU and UCF.
Yeah, so I went to UCF in
battling.
Orlando. Yeah, it's not really that big, right? Yeah, UCF. It's not really. Yeah, it's not that big of a rivalry at all. I don't even think they're in the same conferences, right? But basically, I dropped out. I sucked at college, and I started going to hang out at other people's colleges, for fun. And
that's where you really get the most work done at other people's college. I don't even go here, but I'm doing stuff here.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I felt like I got the best of both worlds. I got to study a little bit at my college, drop out, and then go party and have fun at my friends' college.
Were you much of a partier when you in high school and whatnot?
No, not really. It was not until college. College, there was a lot of I would do a lot of DJing, so I would DJ like parties and so there's a lot more partying in college. High school was very, I was in lag class, man, like lag class. So,
yeah, like, hey man, I got a test tomorrow, dude. I can be fucking around right now.
Not really partying in high school when you're taking lag, that's not you're not getting invited to parties.
No.
Taking lag.
No, you get invited to study group, and that's what we get to do.
As much of a funny thing it is, I do appreciate having taken that class, because if I didn't, wouldn't have met Lauren. And also that class actually had one of the best teachers in the I don't know, in the like, state, I would say. So he was a really great teacher. So it was all the time.
Yeah, that's good. So you're kind of you're figuring yourself out. You're working on music still. That's a primary focus at this point, right?
Yeah, but again, what's the thing is, like, I was always just working on music for fun, so there was never an expectation of it becoming a music career. But when you drop out of college and you don't have any anything lined up, essentially you don't have a future. That's when it became kind of had a realization. I was like, wow, this is something I've been doing for a lot of years, and I think I'm okay at it. That's when I started to kind of becoming more of like, oh, I think maybe I should try to do this.
Give it a real go.
Yeah, and at the time there's a lot of obviously for every musician, they're also music fans, so like there's tons of new music coming out. Like the music scene and the internet was very exciting.
And this was like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that timeline. Yeah, gotcha. I don't know how long you've been doing the music, just like looking for music and stuff like on the internet. But yeah, like that was like a pretty exciting time. Like there's tons of blogs, tons of people sharing
Learning new
music in
stuff.
that way.
Yeah.
This was before Spotify, before Apple Music. You still had to kind of like find the music on your own a little bit.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's like I feel like it's a lot easier.
It's thrown in your face, and then
Yeah.
at that point you had to kind of seek it out, search it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the transition. It was just like, oh shit, well this is one of the few skills that I have. Let's try to
Utilize it. Yeah.
utilize it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like going back to meeting Lauren, yeah, like ever since the first time I hung out with Lauren and like heard her sing and just heard her play guitar, I was just like, wow, like, it's like, wow, you're super talented, and always was thinking about the stuff that we had made together. And that's essentially what our first songs were. It was like her coming back into town from college, and we just met up at her house, and we wrote Renee in like less than like very, very quickly, like an hour, like at most.
Was that the first song that you guys put down at sales?
Yeah, that I don't know if my memory is incorrect, but like I remember that's when I was like, oh wow, this is like a good song. Let's try to put out a project. Like let's try to like brand this song, or brand the project, and start putting out music.
Yeah.
Because by then, I had some solid experience was just kind of seeing how other acts would kind of put music out on the internet and kind of
Yeah.
promote themselves through
Yeah.
blogs and whatnot. It was yes, it's different. It's different, like very different from now. It's crazy how recent it was, but also how
Distant it feels.
distant it is, and how different it is.
Yeah. Was there a difference between what you and Lauren were making previously in when it wasn't called sales to when it transitioned to sales?
Oh, absolutely, a good question. Yeah. So some of my favorite songs pre-sales, like I still love, but yeah, they sound very different. I feel like because so a lot of the early songs was just me coming up with arrangement and Lauren just kind of doing everything on top of it. The way I like to look at sales, it's more of a Lauren and I coming together with our strengths. It's not a producer singer type collaboration. It's a very 50-50. Let's put this it's like a John Lennon Paul McCartney type of songwriting relationship.
Yeah,
more so.
definitely.
So yeah, the early stuff sounds very different. Yeah, it's definitely not sales. Like if you were to hear it.
What inspires you to make music? Like what really drives inspiration, if you could pinpoint that in some way?
Yeah, just the feeling of when you come up with an idea musically and just like lay it down. Like writing songs and recording to me have always been very intertwined. It's rare that I would come up with an idea that wasn't recorded very quickly after I came up with it. So I feel like because of that, I was able to like come up with put things together like pretty quickly. But yeah, just the feeling of it's like solving a puzzle. And just you're just like, wow, it's like a unique puzzle. Every song you write, you come up with, it's like a unique thing. There's no direct, obvious thing you're supposed to do a lot of times.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the feeling of solving the puzzle of a song, I would say. That's kind of how I feel.
It's a good analogy. I like it. Yeah. So after you guys kind of started recording as sales, when did you guys start playing live performances?
Playing shows? Yeah. So I feel like we're really lucky to have we started playing shows pretty quickly. I would say it was only like a year or two after our songs hit the internet. And I think it's to thank our booking agent for that. Her name's Joan, and yeah, she reached out to us by email.
Thank you, Joan.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Joan. Yeah, she we a lot of times in the industry, like you sign these artists that never played a show. We hadn't even no intention, or at least I had no intention. Basically, we had no idea of like what we would have to do if we were to have success, because that wasn't on our mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was just like, oh well, we put out these songs. Oh wow, there's like traction happening, and it felt like we were just along for the ride like the whole time, which is amazing. You know, we're really, I feel like really lucky to be able to say that. Um,
Definitely. Yeah.
so yeah, our booking agent Joan, she hit us up. She's the only booking agent we ever had. Well, we worked with some other people prior to that. It's like a kind of like a one-off type thing. But Joan was like our booking agent. We've been working with her for like since 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good chunk of time.
Yeah, yeah. So pretty quickly, yeah. Basically, the songs got put out. They got traction really quickly, and then we started getting hit up by not a lot of people, but Joan, she's smart. She hit us up really early, and we were like, I guess we'll play shows. We have no idea how to do that, but we figured it out. Yeah, we figured it out. Yeah.
So were you guys? Did you guys have like hard copies of stuff, or was it just digital things that you guys were putting out? It's like, hey, go listen to this.
Yeah. So something that we decided to do really like early that I felt was kind of different was we did put out a 7-inch for Renee pretty quickly after we put it out on the internet. So we had like a physical release to sell, and people knew about. But it took a while to sell all those. We made like 300 copies. Lauren and I put up money, like each of us put up like a little bit of money to do it.
Self-produced, yeah.
Yeah. Just we completely self-funded. Never got an advance or anything. Just very working with what we had.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah. Because both of us were working at the time. I was working at a call center.
Yeah.
I was working at a call center. You ask about the jobs, and it's like, not exciting. It's like,
no, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Call center.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's like, but it's like, it's interesting the dynamic. It's like you're doing something so exciting, but but that's why we were doing these things, because Lauren and I would get off our jobs that we didn't enjoy very much, and meet up and start writing songs. I say
do you feel like creativity kind of sparked you more in those moments of just kind of working these jobs?
100%. I feel like everybody's different, but I have this kind of philosophy that you kind of do have to, obviously, if you're having a great time all the time and having a lot of fun, like it's hard to get the inspiration like to do certain things. And I feel like writing music, doing something creative, I wouldn't say like we were depressed or anything about our jobs, but yeah, it's just like when you can't think about the stuff you want to do, it makes it way more enjoyable when you start doing it.
Yeah, you gotta suffer for art. Yeah,
because you're sitting at your job and you're like, I can't even open up a web browser to do anything, and so like by the time you get off, you're like, holy shit, I appreciate that I can hang out with my friend and jam.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how we're able to really come up with some cool ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Just
yeah. When did you transition to learning the guitar? Was it right around when you were kind of messing around with the saxophone as well? That was just kind of
actually guitar. Yeah, I didn't pick up a guitar. Like my dad bought me a guitar when I was pretty young, but it was an acoustic guitar, and I didn't really do much with it. So it's interesting. My relationship with the guitar was kind of new. It happened around like 2009, 2010 actually. Because I remember the guitar that I use to this day. It's a black Gibson SG. It's a 2009 model, and I bought that guitar because I was kind of like disillusioned with electronic music. I wanted to kind of get out of that electronic music vibe. Just kind of didn't feel great with the stuff I was doing electronically.
Yeah, you're looking for something new, something
Yeah,
fresh.
yeah. So I bought the guitar, hoping that it would like spawn some creativity. But what's funny is like that guitar just kind of sat idle for like a year until Lauren actually saw it, and she actually borrowed that guitar for like um, for I don't know, for a while. I was just like, yeah, go ahead, take it. I don't care. Like, but after I got it back, that's when I started playing that guitar, and like a lot of those old songs are pretty much like 99%, 99% of the songs were essentially written with that guitar.
Wow. I
Yeah,
mean that's it's a good chunk. That 1% though,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, right.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I kind of went through the same thing with bass, because I was just playing drums consistently, and then
Mhm.
my buddy Ben Giebert, love you, buddy. He left his bass over here. We were jamming one time, and it just sat in my room for, yeah, like a good 2-3 years, and I was like, all right,
Yeah,
well, and then when it gets quiet, of course you can't play the drums. So I was like, all
yeah,
right,
yeah,
I'll start screwing around with this, and
yeah.
yeah, it's really, I can relate to that. It's like, oh wow,
Yeah,
these
that's
things
cool.
just sitting
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool you have that experience. I feel like there's something about other just having instruments that other people have kind of imbued with their energy. Because before Lauren played that guitar, it was just nobody had played guitar because it was just sitting there. But after she had borrowed it, she's actually an excellent guitarist. She used to take classical guitar lessons and stuff, and so a lot of the way I learned how to play guitar is kind of emulating Lauren's style. Like her style, like a lot. She used a lot of like jazzy chords, like seventh type style chords, stuff like that. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, like I kind of just picked up guitar and we started jamming. She's a good guitarist, and I'm just kind of like following along, trying to make riffs and sounds that sound good,
yeah,
with what she's doing.
yeah, complimenting each other. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's essentially how I learned to play guitar. I still there's a lot of amazing guitarists. I still don't consider myself to be a guitarist per se, but yeah, I use the guitar to write songs.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now when you perform live, do you prefer performing with a sampler or with a person on the drums?
Oh my God, good question. Yeah, ever since we started touring with the live drummer, shout out to our live drummer Malcolm Martin. It's been super fun. Um, yeah, it's just way more exciting, a lot more energy. It's nice to have, we don't have a lot of people on stage, but when we first started, it was just Lauren and I. And Lauren and I with the sampler is like one of the most vulnerable feelings you could have, like playing a show. So it's nice to have Malcolm there, supporting us playing the drums.
Fill some of
Uh,
that gap. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I really love playing shows with the live drummer. Um,
Yeah.
Prefer it.
So
Yeah, for sure.
the first couple of shows you guys played, what was the attendance like? Were you playing under a bill with other people, or what was
Yeah.
Joan setting up for you guys? What are the
Yes.
questions?
Yeah. So yeah. So we before we met Joan, we played. So Lauren and I both were pretty involved with kind of like the local scene, our respective local scene. In Tallahassee, there was a really strong music scene up there. A lot of the music school students. So she played a lot of house shows out there, and I played a lot of little house shows as well in like Orlando, and just there's like a really cool festival that was running for a while in Florida called Total Bummer, which was really awesome, and you got to meet a lot of the other people in Florida doing similar things. Those shows, very very few attendees. I remember our show at Total Bummer. I forget what year it was. It was pretty bad. And actually, what's really overwhelming to think about is like you're playing to a bunch of really talented musicians. When it's like a music festival, it's like obviously you have your music fans, but you're just playing to all the other musicians that are playing the festival.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I respect that were there and probably saw how not very good. We were, because yeah, we had no intention, no idea of how to even do it.
Yeah, and then have you seen those people since then? When you're playing a show, you're like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, this is the idea of what we're trying to do
Yeah,
here.
what's funny is like I feel like I haven't. It's like interesting how we played that festival and we were sales like kind of a thing, and then fast forward to now and it's like we're like viral on TikTok, like crazy stuff. So I feel like kind of fizzled out of the local scene over time, and and it just kind of naturally happened.
Yeah,
So shout out to everybody from the Orlando scene. I have much respect for you guys. If you hear
yeah,
this,
big ups for sure.
yeah, like I wouldn't be here without having that experience of
Some confidence. Yeah,
so yes, I don't know. That's how local scenes can be. I feel like some people make it out of it with some traction. That actually get traction, and I don't want people to think that like doing the local stuff didn't matter, because that stuff matters.
no, it does. It does. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Like,
you really, and
yeah.
not only for, I mean, for bands to get progressively better, but also having something for the people in the surrounding area to
Absolutely,
come to.
for
Yeah.
sure, yeah, like totally, yeah. It's inspiring. Like I remember reaching out on by email on Bandcamp to I just kind of looked at like Orlando artists on Bandcamp, and just was like, hey, who else is doing stuff? And just kind of reached out to
Yeah,
people.
it's very important to have that.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that there's a scene in your local area, start it, make it, because
Yeah,
people
exactly.
will come. And yeah,
Uh-huh.
and that's always so great to see people really doing something like within these
Absolutely, yeah,
areas. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
very important.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy how things change. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I feel like it's
at,
the old head, old head, like
yeah, that's
already.
you, dude. As of April 26th, 2020, sales has had 3,647,906 monthly listeners on Spotify. Did you think that that amount of people would be listening to what you guys were creating?
No, never. Like, I still I'm shocked because I feel like it was like pretty recent that I was just sitting here, Lauren, starting everything. Like setting up our first Facebook page and setting up our all these like things, our social media accounts, and like they've just kind of grown and grown and grown.
Yeah.
And I feel like just super fortunate because we didn't put out a lot of music. I feel like just just a few songs kind of just hit, really hit with, made some impact.
Yeah, really did. Why
Yeah.
do you think so many people are drawn to your music?
I don't know. I would like to think that because this our intention, was just very, there was no intention. It was just music that was created for the sole purpose of like for me, just I liked hearing it myself, and I felt like if I liked it, oh, maybe other people would like it. So
And obviously they did.
and that's
They
it.
do.
No, there was no like career. Like it's not like, oh, I think I want to have a music career. It was just like a very about the music, about the songs type attitude. It's like, it was not about me. It's not about like my expectations of what would happen if these songs became successful. It was a very like, I think these songs are good, and I would like for other people to hear them.
Yeah, just listen to it.
So I feel like that idea, that energy, I would like to think that energy is kind of helped propel this, these songs, they have a very organic energy to them. Because even to this day, like writing songs now, like it's like, oh wow, I do have like a music career now. So like writing a song, with that mentality, it's like it's different. It's different.
I bet you're like, no, yeah, I'm kind of professional at this.
Yeah. It's like, okay, wow, this is my job. It's like, it's like, So I feel like that energy, that intention, definitely becomes a part of part of the song, part of the music.
Yeah. Did you see an increase in attendance of shows
Oh
throughout?
yeah, absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Was it a
more, yeah.
gradual thing, or was it just like
Um,
bam the
yeah, pretty
next?
gradual, pretty gradual.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember. Well, it depends on the places.
Mhm.
Um, like the smaller cities, a lot more gradual growth, but playing like Los Angeles or New York City, places like that, where people are just a lot more people in tune with what was going on. Yeah,
Hubs. Yeah.
it was amazing going to LA for the first time ever, like to like play a show there and it sell out and like people make you feel like you're a celebrity, even though you're just kind of you're just playing this like 300 cap room.
You say, motherfucker, I'm at Sonic, man. I'm calling you right now,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing what the what the traction on the internet can do.
Yeah. Was that your first? So was it your first time coming out to the West Coast? Was through touring?
Yeah, so I remember, I had lived in California for a year, in Northern California. But I don't really count that. I was 16, so that's how I ended back in Orlando. So kind of kind of clarifying some gaps. So yeah, I ended back up in Orlando, um, after living in California for a year. My dad had got a job that didn't work out. Sonora, California. Are you familiar?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm SoCal, but I
yeah,
understand.
exactly. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's like a population at the time, population like 20,000. Like I was not used to that. So it's a beautiful place, but when you just got like moved away, you don't really care about how beautiful the place you end up in.
Yeah.
So
It's especially at
yeah,
that time. You're like, I could
yeah,
give a shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like I'm sucking at school. California school is so much harder than Florida. Like it's like you know. It's like I don't have any friends. It's like
Yeah. I mean, that's a really
yeah,
pivotal age
yeah.
in general. 16.
Yosemite's right there, man. Like, oh my god, I completely regretted not going to Yosemite. Now I'm like, I can't believe I lived right like 20 minutes from Yosemite and never went there.
Hindsight's 2020, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So then the next time that you came out here
yeah. So
was
basically,
on
after
tour.
that, I'd just been in Florida and didn't really have much connection with California. So to be able to go to LA and have that, like, to me, this that's why bands write songs like Hotel California, because you get that like magical feeling when you play like that sold out show in this this place. So yeah, super. I love going to LA. It's one of my favorite places. Our
Yeah.
booking agent lives there.
Joan. Yes.
Yeah, Joan. Yes, Joan. Yep.
Good woman.
Yeah.
So when you first went on tour, was that kind of when you saw other parts of the country that you had never been before? Like, was it your
Yeah,
first
pretty much, yeah. Like,
introduction?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Like, as a kid, I didn't really travel much. I went to like, your classic trips. I went to New York City. Went to the top of the World Trade Center back in the day, like stuff like that. But nothing.
I mean, that's pretty far north, though. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
jaunt.
yeah. So yeah, that's cool to be able to say I was up there. So yeah,
Definitely.
not a lot of places. Just like the notable places like New York. They didn't really go to California. It's kind of far. DC, stuff like that. So, but America's huge, man. Tons of cool places in the U.S. And I feel like touring is a cool way to be able to experience like a lot of those, like everywhere, all these cool places in the States.
Yeah. The first time you guys went on tour, was it just you and Lauren? It was just you two?
Yeah, so it was Lauren and I and our friends Guillermo and Alana and her girlfriend in this little minivan. It was like a super short thing. It's like a week up the East Coast. Super cool experience. Like all the shows were kind of like house shows. Nothing too official. It was all leading up to like our New York show. That was kind of like a real club show.
Yeah.
And that one was really cool. We played with some pretty cool acts out there. Totally. Man, it's been a while. Like
Totally
Who the
cool
hell is
people, and
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they have names to those bands, but
Yeah,
yeah.
well, no, okay, yeah. Well, we
No.
played with actually we played with Alex Shih in Philly.
Oh, okay, yeah, yes,
Alex,
yes.
that was cool. Dude, that was a really cool show at Golden Tea House. It was like this super cool house, DIY space.
Alex G puts on a great performance.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
really
So
does. I've
that
yeah, I've
was
caught
a
him.
super cool. You saw, like I said, cool acts like that. People, that are doing really well these days.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was our first little tour, and totally unprepared, didn't know anything. Still always learning. Touring, you learn so much every time. Just like it's like a logistics, challenge every time.
Yeah. So were you renting a van, or what were you?
Yeah, so when we first started, we started with like a little minivan. Then we used the minivan for like a while for a lot of tours because we just kept it minimal, just like Lauren and I, and like one other person, our good friend Amanda, was kind of like our go-to third person on tour for like the while she went to Europe with us in 2015. Actually, that was a crazy tour. 32 shows in 30 days.
Easy.
Insane.
I
Yeah,
don't
easy, right?
understand. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, that was the boot camp of a lifetime. Like it's like it's like if you don't know how to tour, do that, and then you'll know how to tour.
Oh my gosh.
Like
Was it all around? All around
it
Europe?
was amazing. It was crazy. It was like going to places like, if I didn't do that tour, I still would not know about those places. Like Darmstadt, Germany, um, like just like shit, like just places that you would not know about. Like it's like, have you heard of that place?
No,
it's like crazy. Yeah, so just like all over the place. So that was exhilarating, and
what
but
was
it
that
was
place?
so early.
London? Was it London? I don't know. It didn't
Yeah, we
then.
did play London. We played London, we played Paris, but like tons of like smaller places too that I
Yeah.
can't even remember now. Like it's been a while.
What was the reception like over there when you guys started playing?
Pretty bad. I mean, it's really there. It was more of like a vacation. Like some of the shows, there was a good turnout. Like London was a solid turnout. Paris had a solid turnout. But yeah, obviously, like this, the smaller places, not so much. But super generous. Like the people that were putting on the show were super friendly. Like the hospitality was amazing. Like home cooked meals. So yeah, it was less about like selling tickets, more about like, hey, you're in Europe, like have a good time.
Live it up, yeah.
Yeah, and like the few people that did show up, like they're fucking awesome. Like, like shout out to them because it's 2015. That was not really in Europe. I mean, in 2015 in Europe, like sales, like not a big name. Even now, it's not huge name. For people that turn up at that time was impressive.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, like that feeling of like, wow, I made this at my house in Florida, and now I'm here, and people like know, at least have some sort of a prior knowledge of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
that's
exhilarating.
my music. That's great. Yeah, that
It's
must be
amazing.
a special
Every
feeling.
person matters. It's like I never was disappointed to, like it's like however many people show up. That's all I'm thinking about. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
Playing, performing for those people.
yeah. What's a concert that you've attended that really stands out to you?
Oh man. Grimes came to Orlando. I forget what year, and I thought that was a really good show. Yeah, it was cool just seeing her just play like one of the venues I've played before, just killing it. And Caribou came to Orlando as well. Caribou was one of my favorite, still one of my favorite projects out there.
Yeah,
It's really cool to see electronic, like what's known to be like electronic project, bring a full band, just execute like a full band performance.
that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah. So Caribou does really cool stuff. Super inspiring. And yeah, if you just even if you kind of go even farther back, there was a show that I was a part of that kind of spawned like or the Orlando electronic music scene at the time, like 2009, 2010 times. Hero Bust. He's actually pretty huge now in the EDM scene.
Mhm.
But prior to that, he was doing more like down tempo electronic music.
Yeah.
So he came down and like played a show. No one was there. Like pretty much the only people that were there were the people that like were musicians that were trying to do stuff. So even though there wasn't a turnout, like it was that would always matter, to me.
Yeah. That really stands out to
Because
you.
like
Yeah.
because like my buddy Matt, shout out to Matt Tarner, he's like always been playing music in Orlando. He's kind of like big bro of the music scene. He's like a couple years older. Um, he's the one that actually put on that show. He like put up the money to get Hero Bus to come out. And I played it. I like supported him.
Man,
Uh,
that's a good guy
yeah,
trying to get stuff done.
yeah.
Yeah.
XXYYXX was
Yep.
there.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it was crazy. Orlando had some stuff going on. Like, and there's still always stuff going on, but like it's always changed.
Do you think that there'll be kind of a boom in overall art due to like the mass exodus of huge hubs like LA and New York
I
since the
believe so. Yeah, I
pandemic?
think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. I think it's you're gonna start seeing more. Um, I mean, yeah, people still end up feeling like they need to be there, like the music hubs,
Mhm.
but I feel like it's because it's just they feel comfortable there. You're treated like celebrity. When you're in LA, you're treated like if you are a celebrity, you're treated like a celebrity.
Yeah.
If you bring that celebrity somewhere else, you might not get the same treatment. So like it's I like kind of just being in these like places that people don't really give a shit about the entertainment industry. So
Yeah.
because we kind of we're independent, so we're not really that connected with the entertainment industry, anyways. So
But then
that's yeah.
the entertainment industry wants to be connected with you and you say, fuck you.
Yeah. They haven't really reached out in a while, but I don't know. Maybe they got the message that we're not really that interested.
Need them. You don't need them, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And
yeah, for sure.
that's a really important like hand to be to to hold close to your chest. It's like I fucking people are listening to my music whether you're helping me or not. So why would I pay you to do what what you do? Like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty opinionated. Like I've done a lot of interviews and had some pretty strong opinions about the industry. But yeah, it's I feel like a lot of times like you feel like there's like this kind of thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And
There's steps. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like okay, yeah, of course I would sign the major record deal and try to win Grammys and stuff like that. But I feel like sometimes maybe that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Like
You kind of have to come to your own conclusion about it. And
yeah,
whether
yeah,
that's
yeah,
whatever, quote
and
unquote,
it's
selling out or whatever,
yeah,
or
absolutely, yeah, and it's like important to acknowledge like what that should sound like as well. It's like if you want to participate in that world, there is kind of a expectation
yeah.
of
Yeah.
like
You
how
gotta
to
play the
look, how to
game.
sound, like
Yeah.
so yeah. If
Are
you
you
don't want,
still are you not signed with the label or still?
yeah, we're still completely independent, no label. We pretty much just operate as like our own label. Have been doing that for a while.
That's
So
great.
so all of our physical releases, we put up the money ourselves to press. We have to keep track
Still,
of
which is awesome.
yeah, we have to keep track of the inventory, just boring stuff that like a lot of people not want to care about. But I feel like I've always been a believer if it's like manageable to
Do it.
keep doing do it. But the moment it's not manageable, then consider getting some help.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it until
Uh,
you can't. Yeah.
so we do actually have a company that helps uh, fulfill our merchandise now. So we used to, me and
Awesome.
Lauren used to every week have to like make like 100 packages plus 100 plus packages, and so we're like I think we just I think we've earned the right to like maybe not have to do this now because we've been doing it for like 5 years.
Yeah, hand it out to somebody else. Like, Eric, you
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
You do it. I got other stuff
Yeah,
to do.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is good. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But it's cool to be able to know how to do it. It's important.
yeah, and understanding the real like inner workings of
Yeah,
what's going on. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's very important. Yeah, I mean, like even with this, I do all of it myself, and it's like very. I mean, like it's great that I know,
yeah.
the
For
limited amount of
exactly. Yeah,
shit that I do, but like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
Absolutely. Yeah,
great to yeah.
there's a lot to to the thing other than the thing, like it's like
That's a good
once
way
you
of putting
it's
it.
like it's like once you finish recording the podcast, you're gonna have to edit the podcast, you have to do all these things.
Oh yeah, I'm taking all this shit
Oh
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like a lot of work, beyond just writing the song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were lucky that everything kind of fell in place with the songs, like the artwork that was done by our friend Alana.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
She,
Alana. What's
yeah,
the
Alana
last name?
Questel.
Questel. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
she's done great art.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It
it's
really fits what the sound is. And if for those who don't know what it looks like, go ahead and go Google. Could you wait? How do you spell the last name of the?
it's Qustell.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely check her out. Or
Alana Alana. Yeah. So yeah, we're kind of like trying out different artists now. Like actually, we the recent stuff, which is was just our let's kind of Lauren and I doing kind of trying ourselves, but yeah, the visuals are gonna look different soon eventually. Just
yeah.
because
The visuals behind
yeah,
the pieces right now are
yeah,
awesome too, and I
yeah.
mean I can't wait to see what's next. But really, if you guys haven't seen it, go Google it, and it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fits.
I feel like that's kind of big deal. Just it all kind of just fell in place. Like people. I feel like it's recognizable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy
What's
how everything happened.
yeah? Is there a reason behind sales being spelled in all caps?
Yeah. I just kind of I've always liked the way that looked. I don't know if that was my idea, but I think I just it's
Like the
not
look of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's just kind of like felt like it looks better.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any there's no like symbolic reasoning.
And now, is there a direct reasoning for the name itself?
Yeah, so Lauren actually came up with the name. Her family, her parents, they've always been involved in sales, actually, like all types of sales, like real estate, like now, like all just always selling something. They've always been making a living doing stuff like that. So she came up with that, and I was like, I like it. I like the fact it's only one word. Also, it's pretty like ambiguous. Like it's like you have no idea what it is. It's surprising. Like now people know what it is, but if you try to tell people what sales is, they're like, what the hell is that? It's like hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of undercover, which is good though as well, because like
Yeah,
the people who know they really want to know. They really
yeah. I like that there really isn't a meaning, and you just kind of listen to the songs. They don't know if it's not
open to
it's not, yeah.
interpretation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. When did you figure out that your music was being used on the platforms it has been used on, like frequently, like TikTok?
What's funny is like the TikTok thing kind of happened, and I had no idea how big it was until like a year or two like after like it had already started. Like yeah, because I don't really use TikTok. It's cool like how crazy it is, but yeah, like TikTok actually reached out to us.
Really?
It was like, hey, did you know like this is happening? And we're like, kind of.
Did you know you're losing money on this?
Yeah. Yeah. So no, that's cool that they did that. Yeah, super fortunate. It's like it's not something you really kind of think about happening, and it just kind of happens. And you kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, you couldn't pay for that kind of publicity either.
yeah,
It's like
absolutely
a
not. Yeah, like
very
yeah,
organic thing.
yeah. The industry hopes they can kind of create that, and kind of make it, like, kind of facilitate that happening, but yeah, it just doesn't.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
manufacture that,
Yeah, so yeah, super
which is
cool.
great.
I'm really happy with it. The more people that hear the music, that's really what matters to me. So anyway, in any way that can happen, I'm open.
Yeah. Was the most difficult show you've ever played?
Most difficult show. Yeah, I would say it goes back to those early shows. And it's just cringy to think about now. You know what I mean? It's even harder to imagine. At the time, it's not as cringy, but then you think back and like, damn, there's some difficult shows.
Yeah, but if it makes you feel cringy about that moment, it means that you've matured as a person. That's like, okay, I would never act like that now because I've changed
it's
so
less about
much.
acting. It's less about acting, but just like being like, holy shit, how did that sound? Like, did that even sound like music? Yeah. Like,
It's experimental.
I would say I was like super hyped and nervous about playing Coachella in 2019.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge thing.
That one was I would say it wasn't hard, but it was, everything leading up to it was like a lot.
Yeah, daunting.
Yeah, daunting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh my God, it's like so dry there. Like, it's like I was dehydrated for a while. Like, they were
Yeah,
offering
out in
like
that valley. Oof.
yeah, they were offering IV hydration, which I thought was like kind of weird, but in retrospect, I would definitely do the IV hydration if I were to go there again. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, did things a bit like differently this
Yeah,
time
right.
around.
It's like, yeah, we don't just drink the water, man. We gotta, shoot the
Inject that
water.
shit.
Yeah, inject. Yeah. I get it straight in there.
Give me a drip IV and then give me one of those roller bands because I gotta move.
Yeah, so Coachella, yeah, that was amazing to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Some touring internationally was crazy because there was moments where like all our stuff was just kind of like sitting there before customs. Yeah. And like it was like in the air whether like we would be able to be allowed to go through with all our stuff.
Yeah.
But luckily, gosh, it was just, I guess people just kind of felt bad, like they just didn't want to ruin our day. So like we were able to get to everywhere we had to go.
That's great.
Yeah,
I
in
mean,
Mexico, we just kind of feel like we kind of got shook down, like, because normally you need to have like an itemized list for all your stuff, with that, like the value. They call it a carne or something like that. Boring stuff, and we didn't have that, of course, because we're still learning.
Because why would you?
Yeah, why the hell? Why would we want to tell you the value of our stuff? Because then you can just kind of like be like, oh, you owe us a percentage of that. Like, so we didn't have this document. Mexico was like, yeah, where's your carne? And like, we don't have it. Like, they're sitting there like, look, they're like, what is this? And like using the phone to like figure out the item and what it costs. And it's like, you can tell that they're like, they don't want to do that shit either.
You're like, all right, listen, guy. I mean, this is up for $3,000 right now on eBay. It's an open bid. I don't know. We'll come back. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, fuck. Like, everybody's like, this is shitty. Like, that we all have to, be subjected to this. Like, so eventually in Mexico, there's like, okay, just pay us this number. I think it was like $500 or something.
Like, all right,
got shook down. And like, all right, you get to go.
Like, all right, Dad, thanks, man.
Australia, yeah, the agent kind of just, they're like, oh, you don't have that? It's gonna be a problem once you get to Asia. We almost didn't get through, and like eventually they just kind of let us through. And what's funny? We didn't have a problem in Asia at all.
It was just Australia. It was this.
Yeah, it's like no, you wanted to be a problem in Australia. Why are you talking about Asia?
Don't blame this on Asia. It's your problem.
It's like we get to Asia, and he's like, like it's amazing. You just walk through and yeah, nobody bothers you.
And then you're looking at them weird, and then like, did you just come back from Australia? And you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
assholes.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. So
Yeah.
I would say that was the hard part. But usually by the time you get through with all that shit, you're just excited to be able to play the show.
Yeah, all right, everything logistically is done now.
Yeah, because you're like, holy shit, like we could have had to cancel this show. So whatever type of feelings you had don't even matter by the time you're up there. You're just excited.
All that stuff's in the past. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one song you wish you would have written?
Ooh, man. Song. That's a tricky one, man.
That's why I ask.
Yeah, you tell me yours first.
Hey man, I'm asking the questions here.
I'm thinking of that because it's like I don't know how to answer that.
You know what would be great to write? This is my feeling about it right now. Miles Davis's "So What," that song.
Oh, so you busting out the jazz, dude. See?
Yeah. I'll tell you where I come from. Yeah.
It's like, okay. Well, shit. Man. What's a hot song that like would have been like sick to have written like pretty recently?
Oh, recently?
Yeah, I'm thinking because it's like, damn, like if I wrote that song, it'd be good. We'd be good.
The Star Spangled Banner would be pretty hot. That'd be a pretty good one. Francis Scott Key, he's got that.
Man, you stumped me, man. You stumped me.
That's all right. It's fine. I got other questions.
I'm gonna keep thinking. I'm still in parallel thinking.
All right. What do you see for the future of sales as of this point?
Oh yeah, so we're actually getting back to work. So if anyone is curious, yeah, we're not stopping. We're still very, very active. So we're gonna be putting out new music. Definitely this year. Kind of not sure when. We're very flexible with our timelines. But we are planning on going on tour next fall.
Awesome.
So kind of like a casual announcement of that. So yeah, still planning on writing music. Lauren and I, every time we get together, we're still, the magic's still there. Like, when we come together. So
that's
as
great.
long as that still happens, we're still gonna write songs and put them out.
Awesome, man. People
go on tour every now and then.
People want to hear that for sure.
Yeah. So, we don't really, we don't have a label telling us, hey, we need an album every however many years. So,
it's just you telling yourself that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, we need an album.
Exactly. So yeah, it's we kind of have to like set that up for ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, man, I like to wrap this up with some promo. So you can find all sales music on any streaming platform, TikTok included. If you go through enough videos, you're gonna find it anyways. It's there. It's out there. And for all the merch and stuff, they can go to wearenotsales.com, right?
Yep, wearenotsales.com.
Awesome. And keep an eye out for the tour whenever in the fall that's gonna happen.
Yeah, next fall, 2022. So plenty of time to think about.
You'll be announcing that whenever the dates are involved.
Sometime. Yeah. It's still we just talked about it like a week ago. So
yeah, but it's great. It's out there.
But we're still active. This is something we enjoy to do. Enjoy doing. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah, dude. Thank you for coming on, dude. I really appreciate it.
And happy to come on. Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna have you on again. This was great.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, man. I'm gonna talk to you in a second. I'm gonna start recording this.
Yeah, cool.
All right, thank you, man.